Yes.
Yes, yes.
I don't know why.
I'll vote against it.
I should have sailed, my friend.
The money is paid.
Shares.
The deed is almost done.
I think there's like 4 minutes, right?
Four weddings.
It's a hot spot.
Now we need a funeral.
That's a good
I
one.
used to do those.
I
I said that's gonna be the title of my autobiography. Four weddings and my funeral.
That's right.
Yes.
Your bankruptcy.
Yes.
More appropriate.
That's funny. My wife is watching.
Oh, really?
All right, as soon as I figure out how to.
Yeah.
Oh, I am recording. All right. As soon as I figure out how to share again. Share screen. Alrighty, so I hit record. That's the first order of business, and we are recording. Call to order. May 4th meeting of the Round Lake Village Board of Trustees meeting agenda. Meeting is called to order. Please stand for the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America. To the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Public comments. Okay. On your desk, you have the letter from Jason, and I apologize for not getting this to you earlier. I thought Kim sent it. Kim thought I sent it. And it's
Not
entirely
this
possible.
letter.
No, but this, we did the bids, a total of 9 bids were received for the reference project. The 3 low bids were within 2,000 of each other, indicating that you received very favorable bid pricing. Based on, this is from Jason at Lamont. Based on a review of the bids, Tom Kubricki Company Incorporated of Gansevoort, New York is the low bidder with a base bid price of $120,369. Lamont Engineers has successfully worked with Tom Kubricki Company on past municipal capital projects of varying size, and we're very capable. Based on the favorable bid pricing and our past experience with the low bidder, we recommend award of the contract to Tom Kubricki.
Do you want to make a motion now?
Yeah, we have it.
I'll take it.
I thought I had it. Do you have it in front of you?
This one right here.
It says, yeah,
Okay, so.
whereas.
Okay, whereas the Board of Trustees of Village of Round Lake has issued a solicitation for sealed bid for the construction of the Mountain Improvement Project as set forth in the bid documents prepared by Lamont Engineers PC. Whereas Lamont Engineers PC is reviewed the submitted bids. So contract number 1, the financial improvements identified Tom Kubricki Company Inc. of Gansevoort, New York, as the lowest responsive for it, and is recommended that the village is paid in the amount of $120,369. Therefore, be it resolved that the village board does hereby award the base bid of contract number 1, and drainage improvements to Tom Kubricki Company in the amount of $120,369. Further resolved that the village board provides contract documents and the documents necessary to implement the intent of the foregoing resolution to the form acceptable to the Mountain Engineers PC and to the attorney's court.
So resolved by Tom, seconded by Tina, and discussion.
Just a curiosity, any rough idea when they might start?
Yes, they said they wanted to start moving.
I meant yes.
Okay. I think they want to start right away.
Like,
Oh, good.
I think it's already meeting
Good.
tonight.
Yeah.
And Jason on the phone to me said that this is the best person for this project. This is the guy we want. He was very happy that he can do this. He said
Good.
this is the perfect contract for this job.
There's a couple of people surrounding you. And waiting.
Oh, yeah.
Solon
Oh, yeah.
is down a guy. He can get another help. So he didn't even believe it. Although he said he'd be close. He would be close. He said he'd feel better.
All right, moving on to the,
Yeah.
oh,
Yes.
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 yes. Moving on to a new addition. Sharon and Kim worked on the event manager work position wording and sent you, you should have in front of you, I think, did I? Did I forget that? I sent an email to you about it. You want me to make copies of it? Are you good?
No.
You're fine, Tina? Okay. All right, the only issue was nobody wants to be responsible for all parking planning, coordination, and implementation. So if we take that out and work around that somehow, I would like to entertain a resolution to approve this, what is that? The event coordinator position minus the second bullet. And as far as what I've been doing is coordinating calendars and trying to figure out how many big events there are that we need help with. For example, open mic. We're not going to need somebody to direct parking on that. But there's maybe 10 events for which we would need somebody actually to be in charge of it. And I know that the person that we had in mind for this position is more than happy to work on it and do essentially the job, but he doesn't want to be the one that gets yelled at if something goes wrong. So,
You mean as far as parking? Or
yeah,
as far
as far
events?
as parking,
Mhm.
parking only.
Well, so how do we do that? Because I've been away, I hadn't heard about this position, so I just asked Sharon what she was, thinking about with this. And she said that volunteer activity, and most particularly parking was she thought would be part of this. So she was saying all volunteer activity. I said, is that just me parking? She said, no, all volunteer activity, including parking.
Yes, we tried that, ran it by, and yeah, everything's good except for that, because I don't want to be responsible for if something happens and somebody, like what happened at markets a few years ago, somebody took a shortcut through somebody's lawn and there was hell to pay. So, I mean, there are, and I honestly don't think we'll find anybody who wants to be responsible for parking in how many years. So I was thinking of maybe on those 5-10 days, whatever it is, talk to the fire department, see if we could hire some fire marshals for traffic for an hour, because really we only need it like half an hour, 45 minutes before the event, 15 minutes after the event. Or the sheriff's cadets, like they were there at the Little League parade on Saturday. So we'll find some way of getting around it. May cost a little money, but
My big concern is that parking has always been one of the top couple of issues with it, and one of the rationales behind us developing these positions and funding them at an increased level was to take care of one of those issues, because we can't take care of it with volunteers in the long. And we've proven that over the years that there's not enough people to volunteer to do these jobs. So I think on the one hand, if this person doesn't want to handle it, it is what it is, but we need to have a concrete plan going into the year of how we're going to handle parking. And so it's 10 events is a lot of events still. It's
Yeah. Well, that's what my calendar, it shows which church parking lots are available, which days when we have events. And one of the things I'm going to be asking for tonight is $1,000 to 500 to each church to allow us to use our parking lots for these events. So we are working on some overall, at least knowing what spots are available. And then we can work with the event promoters to let the patrons and ticket holders know where they should park.
As far, the description says that they're going to be coordinating the parking plan, so it's not like they're gonna be standing out there. And is what it sounds to me like, Gary, is that you're going to be coordinating the parking plan.
Well, implementation is the key there.
Coordination is an issue too, and I know for certain that Sharon has concerns about that, and I know that we've all had issues with parking. So we need to know who's in charge of coordinating.
I think that's the biggest sticking point. I don't have a problem with deleting that and taking that responsibility off of that person, but somebody needs to handle it, and it has to be beyond a volunteer, in my opinion, because it's volunteerism has not worked. We don't have enough people doing that. We don't have enough people to volunteer in general.
If we need the person filling this position to do that job, why take it out?
Because we won't find anybody to take this job. Nobody wants to deal with parking. Nobody has ever wanted to deal with parking.
Right. Which is why I thought we were
Paying someone.
paying somebody to do it. That's I thought part of the. And I know we had the parking enforcement come around more last year, and that seemed to help a lot with it, but. Again, I thought one of the big drives behind funding these positions was so that we could take it away from being a volunteer activity and give somebody an incentive to be paid. Although it's not a lot of money, paid to work.
Well, apparently 1,500 isn't enough money. To me, it seems like a perfect job for a deputy mayor.
Believe me, I've done it.
Practicing the organizational, the planning. And,
Half an hour times 10 events is 5 hours of work. 10 hours, it's an hour of work. So
well, I don't mind doing the planning and coordination.
right.
Um,
As you understand, my life's going to become a little bit more complicated over the last couple of years. So it's been more difficult for me to make myself available regularly to handle parking. So that's why I think it's important. And again, this was a responsibility historically of the auditorium manager that went away, was replaced by volunteerism, didn't work. And that's why we are adding that back in the job description. Now, again, if this person flat out refuses to do it, so be it, but we need to have a concrete plan. And we're running out of time on that.
well, my suspicion is that it's not so much that he flat out refuses to do it, because I know that he would work very closely with me, but he just doesn't want to be the one that gets yelled at. Well, take a number.
I mean, these are the responsibilities that we're trying to figure out who's going to do them.
Right.
I mean, we weren't. I don't know that there's any urgency. Is there urgency to coordinate village events?
Well, Sharon, my impression was she would like this buttoned up.
She
ASAP.
would, but if I may speak, what she told me, she would, but parking is the biggest part of this that concerns her. So if we take that out, is there urgency? Or should we keep working on it?
Keep working on it in the sense that,
Well, if we're going to add a line in here saying the mayor will be responsible for planning and coordinating parking for all auditorium events.
Would the assistant itself, this person, maybe
in the office.
Parking.
You know, like to your point, Gary, it's 10 events at an hour apiece. I just can't believe that we can't find somebody to work for 10 hours and get paid to do it. And maybe it's not the person that we're talking about here, but it just strikes me as odd that we can't find somebody to pay to stand and direct parking.
Well,
1
that's,
hour,
that's
that
only
makes
part of
sense.
it. That's the implementation part.
Right.
And that's the part where we could maybe hire somebody, maybe fire marshals or
Right.
cadets from the sheriff or something to do that.
But the organization of that to me is part of the court. You know, I just don't understand. Like it's a key part. It's a foundational part of these events is organizing the parking. To not do that is to basically take away one of the, you know, I just don't understand. We're going around this and ending up with the same situation that we had the last couple of years, which has not been effective, to rely on volunteerism.
Then maybe we do it in an ad hoc manner this year with me coordinating the planning and the spaces, and then up the budget for next year. Just try to see, make it, you have to, if it's a
Right.
job that's so onerous, I mean, really, you have to up the salary to make it.
Is onerosity a word?
It is now.
I'm not sure.
Okay, but I'm
Onerous.
gonna use it anyway. The onerosity of it is actually doing the job. It's the onerousness is doing the job itself. It's not actually, I mean, coordinating it, if you've got somebody that's paid that's willing to do it, coordinating it is, hey, Jim, show up at 5 o'clock on June 12th to organize parking. That's, I mean, there's not much to it beyond, and this is the 3 places you park.
Well,
In my experience, having done this for a couple of years, the most difficult part is getting people to do it. So if you can pay people to do the parking, there's not that much coordination to do other than to say, these are the dates we need the people here, and this is the time, and this is.
But part of the coordination is looking at all the calendars and all the parking spots, what's available, like on Tuesdays. United Methodist has AA meetings and choir, so any events on a Tuesday can't use,
Okay.
count on their parking lot. So, and that's part of the planning and coordination, knowing what spots are available, how many parking lots are needed.
Right.
And certainly,
Well, I'm gonna say the coordinator will work closely with the mayor to plan, coordinate, and implement parking. You could say that, but I think, you
ooh,
know,
that's
the,
good. That's two fingers would have to be pointing.
it would.
It wouldn't just be one.
But the thing is that the rest of it is like, what village events? That, you know, how many village events are there? What is this person being paid for, you know, to coordinate, you know, open mic
Yeah, but part
nights,
of it was also Sharon didn't want to be going opening and for every
opening and
cleaning,
closing.
opening, closing,
Let's not
load
say
in,
anything
load
about
out,
cleaning, but
not cleaning, opening and closing.
cleaning is not in this.
Right.
So opening and closing
Yeah, at
is
the
in
bottom.
here, yep. And arranging permits for village events and insurance and stuff like that. So that's in there. But you know, I think that there aren't that many village events, and that's always been done by volunteers. So when we were putting money to it, I thought it was because the parking is so onerous.
That's what I thought, yeah.
okay, let's stick to our guns. Posted position. Cover the whole list.
Yeah, the changes. You know, if we're gonna approve the job description. Because the first sentence did not mention the volunteer activity. So I added that to say the event coordinator is responsible for all volunteer activities for auditorium events and works with the auditorium director to schedule and oversee use of the auditorium for village events. And I have just a couple of them. Grammatical things.
Do you want to have another conversation with the person who needs to do this?
Well, if we're posting it,
I think we can revisit this in 2 weeks. And have conversations in the meantime. I don't think 2 weeks is gonna make a big difference between this and not. I'm willing to move the money around to have it ready to go, but I think we should have these discussions, because I honestly think that, to Heidi's point, that the reason why we funded this specific position at that level was that a key part of that was parking. To take that step out of it there's not a lot of meat left on the bones, in my opinion,
well,
that wouldn't be done or hasn't been done.
next meeting is the 18th, and the 9th and 10th, Carpe Diem has auditions. So I don't, I emailed them today asking how many people they expected, actually for all their events. So,
Yes.
But they're not handling, if we pass this tonight, nobody's handling parking anyway, so what's, I mean,
We
that's.
had a, I'm sorry, but we had a Zoom with them today, and we worked out a parking plan for them for it. We discussed parking, Sharon, I discussed parking with them and how they would do it, and they come, it's the auditions that are next week, and they come in, they stagger their arrival, and the kids get dropped off in turns to leave.
Perfect.
Or they park at the Zen, that's already been looked at. It's really the first thing that I think is the issue is the option, because that's in a month.
But I guess my point was whether we pass this without parking tonight or not, that it doesn't make it much of a difference as it pertains to Carpe Diem, because there will be no parking plan regardless of whether we're passing that addition. So let's have the conversation, revisit it in 2 weeks. And maybe in the meantime, post it.
Parking,
Get some
parking is in their contract, the Carpe Diem.
Yeah,
That's
correct.
a separate thing.
Saratoga Opera, I think, is
That's the-
the
that's
first
the-
one where we need to have
Yeah.
something concrete. And
Right.
it can't, I think maybe if we quantify the number of hours involved roughly, I know we can't be specific, but we're funding this at $1,500, and this is the amount of workload that's anticipated, I think. To me, I think it's reasonable to ask somebody to at least coordinate parking, especially if we're going to go above and beyond and pay people to help people park. So you're paying somebody to coordinate the parking, and then we're going to also pay people to actually do the physical job.
And we're paying for the parking lot.
And we're paying for the parking lot. So I think that's I think it's a very reasonable ask of that coordinator to do that. So I think I would personally like to revisit this in a couple of weeks.
I don't think we have 10 performances that really is serious. Group thinking about parking, I think it's going to be more like 6. I think it's even less onerous.
There's not as much onerosity.
Yes, not that much.
Really.
all right, so you're saying post it as is, or what were the changes that you?
I just have a couple. I don't know if you want to.
Okay, so post it with 1,500.
Yes.
Stipend.
Yeah, these things don't change anything except that first sentence. Really.
Yeah.
In content, it's just.
Yeah.
So. You want a motion?
No, we're just gonna post it.
Just gonna post it?
I think we'll just approve the person once we
So we're approving the money?
We should make a motion to approve the money.
Yeah, resolution here. So this would be just like hiring Phyllis, right? Post it in the village. We don't have to do a.
Just a minute.
Okay.
And we could do these transactional resolutions to get, move the money to where it needs to be.
Okay. So. First one, the village plans to pay a local person a stipend of $1,500 to help with the auditorium this season. $600 to be paid from the 21-22 budget, and $900 will be paid from the 22-23 budget. At this time, a resolution is requested to transfer $600 from Parks contractual expense account A7110.4 to the cultural and rec contractual expense account, A7560.4 to cover the 21-22 portion of the stipend. Second,
I'll second.
discussion?
Yes.
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 Tim?
Yes.
Karen?
Yes. 2, the village plans to pay the Methodist and Episcopal churches in Round Lake each a $500 stipend for seasonal use of their parking lots during auditorium events. With this being said, resolution is requested to transfer $1,000 from the celebrations contractual expense account A7550.4 to the cultural and recreational contractual expense account A7560.4 to cover these payments.
Second.
Discussion?
Just out of curiosity, do we know, I mean, if one of the events is held on a Tuesday when the one is not available? are we gonna- It's just flat for the year. regardless
Yeah,
of
we're
when
not
it
gonna
goes to
supersede.
music?
And if there's I've been discussing this with the churches over the winter, and they say, on a Saturday, if nothing's scheduled, there might be a funeral. We can't plan that, so that will be part of the agreement.
Yes.
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 Tim?
Yes.
Yes. And budget entries are. And village attorney, words of wisdom?
Yes, I think we ought to find ourselves a towing company and enter into a contract so that if we need to tow folks, we have the ability to do so.
Okay, village mayor. Vince went to the CSLAP training along with Heidi Furstensel. CSLAP is a citizens statewide late assessment program. And Stuart Galloway and I will be going the 18th to get the training so that we can start collecting data on the lake.
Data on what?
The lake, Round Lake. Thank you, Vince. Village trustees.
Nothing for me.
I will entertain, public comment.
I actually have a question.
Lydia?
Hello.
Lydia?
Hi, yeah, I put
Yeah,
it
let me
in the
turn it-
chat. First of all, I was wondering where the funds are coming for that water project.
What water project?
The drainage. the drain.
Oh. We started budgeting for it last year. We put 25,000 in drain stormwater. We put 25,000 in stormwater this year. And we plan on using the 39,000 we got from American Rescue Plan this year, and the 39,000 we'll be getting from the American Rescue Plan next year for the remainder. So that
It gets us right about there, right?
129, yeah.
Excellent. Okay, and the second thing, I was going to, about the whole parking issue. I think the biggest problem is we're not sure where to tell people to park when you volunteer. It's all very confusing. And I mean, it's also not a fun job. But I wanted to let you know that we have a tentative plan to recruit some volunteers for various things related to the auditorium. And that's scheduled, we were aiming for May 18th. And one of the things we're going to look for is volunteers to help with parking. But it would be really helpful if we knew what the expectation was for that job. It's, I volunteered and I've just stood at Leah's lot and pointed people in and put out the signs and all that stuff. So if you want us to do that, maybe somebody could come and tell us what they would like it to be, or maybe meet beforehand, or we'd just punt the whole volunteer thing for parking entirely.
No punting, no punting.
What time? You said May 18th, Lydia, what time?
I think it's on May 17th. It's still tentative. I haven't even checked with Kim if the community room's available, or maybe we'll do it in the auditorium. It would have to be in the evening, so I guess 7.
17th is.
I mean,
Tom's birthday.
Okay, would you shoot an email reminder to me?
yeah, I mean, we haven't started publicizing it yet, so because it was tentative. But I will do so.
I can put a rough thing together, email it. If I can't.
Oh, Matt just said Matt coordinated volunteers for a couple of years, and he said he would put a rough thing together and send it to us.
Okay, and if there's anything else you want volunteers for related to the auditorium, I mean, we were thinking manning the ticket booth and the concession stand and, you know, that kind of thing. Because Sharon says, oh, I can't do front of house when there's performance because she's busy doing other things. So we really do need a volunteer staff for events, so.
Okay, sounds good. Thank
All
you.
right.
And anything else? Entertain a motion to adjourn? Second? Aye. Thank you.
Bye.
What is this lake training about?
Don't you read my emails? Don't you read my emails?
If I took something out.
From the village emails.
My suggestion.
Oh.
Oh, because I sent emails out asking for volunteers and explaining the program.
Is this on Facebook or something?
No, email.
Because it said.
That's how Vince found
Wait,
it.
you did an email asking for volunteers? I don't remember that.
For C-SLAP,
To the AV director.
for the Citizen Statewide Lake Assessment Program I'm talking about.
Okay, well, I still don't remember anything about it. But,
No, I did, and I got 5 volunteers,
oh, that's great.
the result of it, and 2 of them went for training, and Stuart and I are going the 18th.
What time is that?
The 18th?
On the 18th?
At 9 o'clock probably.
Who's in charge? So
Okay.
that's that.
We had to sign up months ago
Oh.
and get waivers and all sorts of stuff.
All right.
Sorry.
All right, be that way.
Yeah, right.
I'll see if I can add you. I'll ask her.
I'll check the calendar
That's
tomorrow.
fine. No, I appreciate it.
All right, how do I stop sharing
Yes.
and stop